All right. On to well, and there it is. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? You see, I'm back here at the desk. You know what I'm saying? Tapping in on the late night. But man, I caught up with my buddy Marcus Harrison Green earlier, and I got some clip outs from that interview there. It was real cool to see Marcus. It's been, well, I guess he was here last year on the day with Trey, but the last time that we were together was like 3 years ago when he was down here during the morning update show. So he popped in. He talked about, I mean, we'll play some clips and everything, but he talked about, of course, this mayoral election, and a lot of community stuff. That the whole thing is, we talked for like an hour, to be honest with you. So I just clipped out a few things. We're gonna put like the whole thing online. It's like it's cool. The audio's a little cooked though on it, so I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm a perfectionist. I wasn't quite watching the audio meter on that one, man. So I mean, it's still cool. It's all good and everything. That's my boy. So I know he's gonna come back and we're gonna do more stuff. We're getting it, we're getting it going and everything else. And I'm back here, at the desk. People say they like the desk. The feedback that I've gotten so far is like, this is the favorite spot. I'm trying to get into the big studio, but according to Eric, I got to pay my dues. You know what I'm saying? To get into the big studio. So I'm still waiting for that. But until then, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. See, I'm running it solo over here. I'm getting better at this though. Don't nobody want to hang out with me in the studio this late at night. So I got to do everything myself. I'm like, okay, is my audio cool? Is my video cool? Am I over here? Is everything, man? It ain't too like junky behind me. Working on this. Let me move this. I got a remote in the screen. Let me move this out the way. So I'm gonna get into the interview with Marcus Harrison Green, but also, I thought about it too. I was like, man, we make so much stuff that people don't really, people, it depends where you're at. You see it. It depends, how you engage with Converge. We make a lot of stuff that goes on broadcast TV, that goes on Basis Show, and then sometimes onto our social media things people don't. So guys just miss a lot of stuff. So here you're going to see stuff you might have seen it before, you might not, or anything else. But I wanted to play something for you here at the start of the show. We're having a conversation, actually earlier conversation with Marcus. And like I said, we'll get to that. And we're talking about how a lot of times when people talk about people suffering from substance abuse disorder or, on drugs, keep it real, especially now fentanyl and everything else, it's pretty easy to just dehumanize people. And it's pretty easy. Guys got everybody got the nicknames for people, especially on fentanyl. I mean, it's crazy as we all see. We can visually see it. And there's a lot of stories that we see about people who are suffering and people who are on the streets and everything else. And especially when it comes to, like I say, Black people, who we see, man, it's just never good in media. And so I wanted to play something for you. This is what Deontay Damper actually produced this along with Winfield Ezell Jr. and Winfield Ezell III, call him Trey, and Sean Cokes. And they went to a spot in the Central District. And it's decades old, and it's called Cherry Hall. And I thought that, like, this was an important story to play, and I'm going to play it for you because it's good to see the other side. It's good to see that there are people who are every day who are getting off drugs every day, who are beating that disease, that substance abuse disorder. And we don't see enough stories about people making it. And what's really impactful about this is this spot's right there in the Central District, in my home neighborhood, that, they've been helping people get right for a few decades. So we're going to play this and we'll get into the show.
Cherry Hall is my home away from home, literally. When I leave work, I come to Cherry Hall. When I get up in the morning, I come to Cherry Hall.
Cherry Hall is a place where individuals can come and be supported regardless of race, creed, gender and get the love and the support and be directed on the right track.
Cherry Hall is a recovery center for alcohol and drugs. We hold meetings here. It's the last stop on the block for a lot of us. Myself, I'm in recovery, and I was accepted nowhere else but here.
I went to my mama's house, and she had a chain on the door. She said, "You need help." And this is where I came. And I sat by that door, and I said to myself, if they say something I don't like, I'm gonna get out of here. But they didn't. A lady that I didn't even know came and gave me a hug. And that did it for me. I've been here ever since.
This is a place of refuge. It's a sanctuary. It's a safe haven. It's probably the last vestiges of any community support place that we have. It's the epicenter of how we stay sober around here. This place plays a vital role in a lot of people's lives. We need the community to continue to support it. We need people to come and investigate it. We need federal dollars, state dollars, anything that we can get. We need support.
The size of our space, we've outgrown the capacity that we're in now. And we're looking to put 2 or 3 stories on the building, doing some fundraising so we can do community outreach, peer participant, go out in the community and reach out to addicts that are still suffering.
When we come around here and we become established, it's not about getting your own and moving on. It's about continuing to be a beacon of hope and assistance to the newer members that come around here that are searching for a new way to live.
After 33 years, I still come to meetings. It's very important to me. It's like going to the gym. This is where I get my strength when I come here.
Just the fellowship, seeing people hanging out, playing dominoes, the camaraderie that goes on within the fellowship here brings me a lot of joy.
Everything about my life stems from my recovery and the efforts that I put into it. So I just don't take it for granted, and I do this thing one day at a time, and one day at a time, almost 36 years, it's still working.
My clean sober date is July 22nd, 1997.
11 years, December 31st.
33 years.
I've been having issues with drugs and alcohol for 40-some years. For the newcomer or for the person that's out there using, you can come here and people will show you how to take it one day at a time, sometime 1 minute at a time, but it's okay. All I have to do is reach out and work the program of recovery, and there's always another brother or sister here that will embrace me and help me.
Dear Cherry Hall, thank you for embracing me, accepting me, and making it possible for me to have a place to come and recover.
Can never pay back Cherry Hall for what Cherry Hall has not only done for me, but the community as well. It's priceless. You can't buy recovery.
Yeah, that's dope. Cherry Hall, like I said, they've been at it for decades. And I just thought it was important. You know, we see all the stories all the time, and we visually see across our community people who are impacted. You know, they're dealing with drugs, drug abuse. And I think it's important. It's easy in general statements to dismiss people's humanity and dismiss what people are going through. And believe me, man, I deal with it. You know, we down jail. You know what I'm saying? I take Jackson home. So I mean, man, I'm in the midst of it all the time. So as somebody who's dealing with community members, and yeah, it's a lot. So anyways, I just wanted to be able to show that there's another side. There are people that are recovering. There are people that are transitioning back into their lives, and they're taking it one day at a time, which is really dope. Shifting gears here real quick. You know, this is a very happy day for me. You guys know I'm a big M's fan, and the Mariners have signed Naylor, the first baseman. He re-signed, got 5 years, like $92 million or something like that. Got an $8 million signing bonus. So if you already see him play, he's already hype. He's always smiling. I can imagine how much he's smiling now. You know, we're ready for next season. You know me, man. Lifelong Mariners fan. There's always next season. So really excited about that. Great news coming out the M's. And actually, I got some stuff that we're working on. Storytelling around the Mariners coming up for you too. So, anyways, Marcus Harrison Green was here today. Also, Justin Carter was here as well from Capitol Hill Seattle blog, and we'll be playing our conversation with Justin tomorrow, and just tapping in with local media, seeing where people are at, how they're feeling about the election, and feeling like what's next and everything else. And so, thought I would sit down with these guys, your old friends. Everybody kind of, I think, sits a little differently on how they see things, but it's all good because everybody sees things the same. Then it's not interesting. There's really not a lot to talk about, to be honest with you. Everybody just always agrees on everything. But Marcus and the South Seattle Emerald, now going in their 12th year, really represent, I think, a pretty big voice, especially of South Seattle, thus the name, and also into South King County as well. So I asked him to pop by, and like I said, the whole interview was like an hour, man. I mean, it was great. Man, we were clowning too. So I'm gonna take the whole interview, and we're gonna put it online. It said the audio is a little crazy right here. I'm trying to do too much all at one time. I'm working my way back up into the big boy studio. So until then, I'm doing a lot by myself. So the audio on this is a little cooked. You guys will forgive me though. You know what I'm saying? We're getting it straight. But the first thing that I asked Marcus about was, what was his first thoughts on the election of Katie Wilson. Katie Wilson, first thoughts.
Whew, man. Yeah, I will say, like, for somebody who didn't have a great deal of name recognition prior to the primary election that happened in April, excuse me, in August. Um, for somebody who had less money than obviously the incumbent mayor, Bruce Harrell, I'll say it's definitely an interesting outcome in terms of I don't think a lot of people saw her coming. A lot of people kind of underestimated her, and I think there are some folks who I think underestimated the discontent that some people had in terms of like cost of living and affordability in the city. And that being said, it was very close. Is nearly 50% of the people voted, or nearly half of the people I should say, voted for Bruce, who voted for Katie. I mean, she got over. I think it'll end up like a little under 2,000 in terms of the voting differential. That being said, hey, as somebody said, like you get all the power no matter what in a democracy where it's winner take all. So I would say that I'm just curious to see like what her transition team is. I'm curious to see who she keeps from the Harrell administration. I'm curious to see who she staffs up. She has until January. But ultimately, like I told a couple of folks, and I was telling you this, man, I had family members who were definitely Team Harrell. I had family members who were definitely Team Wilson. And ultimately, right now, it's time to be Team Seattle because I don't think we can afford 4 years of just, folks sitting on their hands and, not wanting to contribute to the success of the city.
All right. And first thoughts, first reaction with Marcus. And my second question was, it really kind of goes back to the original press conference where it's like that got a lot of run, to be honest with you, when Katie Wilson was talking about her vision of how she sees life in Seattle. And a lot of different people took it a lot of different ways. I asked Marcus, I'm like, man, did you take that speech as in like word for word, this is what she wants to implement, or is this like, blue sky vision? What are the bones of her agenda? And so here's Marcus. So Katie Wilson, you covered this, you wrote big at op-eds and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So they're at the press conference, and I wanted your opinion on this. They're at the press conference. Katie Wilson named off a bunch of different things. I think it was like maybe it was the blue sky or maybe it was her agenda. You know, it's like, man, you know, a chicken in every pot. You know what I'm saying? Get the way. You know what I'm saying?
The government change program.
I had to throw that in for my mama. You know, we need a chicken in every pot in the neighborhood. But you know, it was quite. I wouldn't even say a wish list because very well might be. Well, it is because a lot of these things don't exist right now.
Right.
Did you take that as like, you know, this is a blue sky vision of what life could be in Seattle, or did you take that as actual serious agenda points of like, okay, this is what she's getting ready to go to work on?
I mean, I'm always a little hesitant to put too much stake in somebody's first press conference just because they still so high off the win and everything else. I mean, you know, if they're able to get half of the stuff done that they propose, right? I will say though, to answer your actual question, I think, you know, good faith interpretation is that she was laying out a vision for what she wants the city to be. That being said, like I'm more curious about like day one, was it January 2nd or whatever, that, you know, she's in office. Like, what is she actually saying there? What is she, whom has she put in office to make these things happen? Like, what is she, and these things that she said, how actionable are they actually? And also how transparent is she going to be about like the time frame the changes that she want happens, right? Is it, if she's like, this ain't gonna happen overnight, this might be 4 years, it might be 5 years, but you know, this is the process. So I'd be looking at more so transparency. It's like, was it Andrew Carnegie said this once. He said, there's times in your life you stop listening to what people say and you just start paying attention to what they do. And so that's what I'm more concerned about, is like, what is she actually going to do, you know, once in office? And so like, look, if this is the value statement and the vision that we can hold you to, fine, right? But then this is what we're gonna hold this to you in your actions that you take throughout your first 100 days in office.
All right, Marcus. This is my guy, man. If you guys could have seen what was popping off behind the scenes, it was crazy. Look, I'm gonna take a quick break. 60 seconds. Now, this part I think I got figured out. We're at 60 seconds, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about cabinet selections. But something I really wanted to talk to Marcus about too was like, you know, what's our community? What does this mean to our community? So, quick break, and I'll be right back.
Treat your loved ones with your favorite holiday tradition, the Nutcracker. Performed by PNB's incredible company of dancers to the live magic of the PNB Orchestra at Seattle Center's McCaw Hall. For tickets, visit pnb.org.
Like a warm cup of tea, coffee, or your favorite bowl of soup, Washington Health Plan Finder is here for you. Whether you're exploring your options or need help finding a health insurance plan that meets your needs, you can count on us. Visit wahealthplanfinder.org today. Open enrollment begins November 1st and ends January 15th, 2026.
See, I know the secret to it. You got to keep these breaks short. Speaking of breaks, though, speaking of advertising, you see it's a viable place for advertising. You know, you get your message out across all Converge platforms. Our biggest platform, of course, Back to Besa, comes on 3 times a week. 3 times a week on Fox 13, Fox 13 Plus. There's also The Day with Trey and Almost the Weekend, and this new show this year. It's called The Big O Show. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get out the basement. So we need your support. Interested in advertising, learn more information, hit us up, advertise at whereweconverge.com. Help O get out the newsroom and into the studio. You know what I'm saying? We need your support. And speaking of support too, you could also, if advertising in your thing, you can go to whereweconverge.com/donate. You can make a one-time donation or you can make a reoccurring donation. Man, you can join our $5 family. You know what I'm saying? That's what's been really keeping us on air and pushing those $5 donations that are out there. Clearly, you are free to donate more one-time or reoccurring. But that's all good. Also accepting prayers and hugs. You feel me? Like it's all good. We're taking all kinds over here. Other thing, quick update. T-shirts are out. I think there might be a few more going out tomorrow, but all you guys who sent emails for the Converge T-shirts on us, T-shirts are now in the mail, so you should probably get those by the end of the week. The mail ain't fast like it used to be back in the day. So, but those will be arriving to you. And there was something, it didn't make it in here. It's gonna go in there tomorrow. But Seattle University is doing like a safety survey. So I'm gonna have that up tomorrow. Some info on that. QR code on screen. You guys can check out the safety survey. Also, comments are open. If you guys got any comments out there, you know what I'm saying, drop those in. We could talk about it, put it on the screen, all that good stuff. All right, so moving along here in this conversation with Marcus, and again, my apologies, audio isn't quite, where it should be, but it's all right. We getting there. A conversation with Marcus, and we talked about the potential cabinet and cabinet selections of Katie Wilson, which also led into a deeper conversation that I had to break here into two parts about how that relates to our community and Seattle's Black community. For me right now, I'm like looking, my big thing is the cabinet, and that's actually where that was going to be my question. I ended up asking a question at the first presser.
Yeah.
That was going to be my question, was about this cabinet. And I'm always explaining to people, because the conversation stops at like, oh yeah, it's a $9 billion budget and this and that. Right. But it's basically all these sub businesses inside the city.
And some of them, let's just say, not all of them are of one accord.
Well, yeah, and these are all massive, like HSD, hundreds of millions of dollars in their budget. SDOT, hundreds of millions of dollars in their budget. You've got SPD, you've got all these other,
right?
You've got parks, which is also like, I think, metropolitan parks and everything else. These are big operations.
Absolutely.
That, this is very important operations all the way down. And I'd like to tell people, every department's important. Rocking with all the city employees. Big O got you. You know what I'm saying? All of that. But that also gives a clear direction kind of initially as well. And then, who stays over from the Harrell administration. Mm-hmm. And then who's replaced? Does a police chief get replaced, or is it a new police chief? Does somebody like Dr. Dwayne Chappelle, who's been through now 2 administrations over at DEAL, Department of Early Education and Learning, DEAL.
Somebody's been practicing there. Okay.
Man, let me tell you. So it's interesting because both of us, and I'm sure a lot of the city, is looking for those indicators or those signs of like what direction would Mayor Wilson be going.
Which is why I say, man, it's like whatever team anybody was on, during the primary, during the general election, when, if there is like a reach out to community, and I hope that there is, about like, who should I keep, who should I not keep? Like, I think folks got to speak up,
So hold on. So 1, I agree with you, but 2, when you say community, and we'll speak in a few different terms, for guys, you can go on why.
Yeah, let's get the vernacular down to like what do we mean?
So I'm gonna tell you, right? Because when we're saying community now, all Seattle, we're all together, Ujamaa, you know what I'm saying? It's 88 square miles, 800,000 of us. Okay. So that's our larger community, right?
Yes.
But right now, me and Marcus Harrison Green are talking about Black folks.
Yeah, it's like, to quote, right.
we talk, when we're saying community, so, not to offend anybody, but, when we're very specific here talking about community, they're like, well, man.
To quote Marshawn, right? We talking about community, but we really, 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 really talking about community.
Yeah, we really talking about community. So, you know what I'm saying? But isn't she obligated? And where you said that, like, you hope that community answers a call and this and that. Isn't she partially obligated, though, as well, especially in Black community, because she flipped a lot of Harrell voters. So here's the thing. This is like the crazy, maybe one of the most ironic things is like, she very well might have picked off enough Harrell voters for the victory. And I guess you could look at different demographics of that, but considering how small Seattle's Black community is, right, and a small number of whatever, man, because And this was my question to her during that press conference, was like, hey man, you flipped a lot of voters. We've seen you out there. We've seen different groups organizing around there, cats, yard signs, Facebook and everything else. And so, of course, my first question is like, what's your plan to show up for black folks? Because black folks showed up for you.
Yeah.
And
well, some did. Yeah.
Well, clearly enough.
Yes.
Yeah. Look at you. I got one auntie who did. I know for sure, right?
Bro, I didn't mean cuss out.
My mama did, but my auntie didn't.
Bro, I'm just saying, I didn't even cuss out since election night up to today, man. So yes, anyway.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
And what her response was like, it was kind of long, and it went a few different places. But her response was like, yeah, we're obligated. If we were out there in community, talking to people and this and that, we're obligated to following back up with them.
Which is what I'll say is that the one, and look, to your point, every department head, every person or whatever is important. I would be curious on who her sort of de facto liaison to the black community is. Meaning, like, I want to say, I want to say it was Dominique Stevens for Mayor Durkin. Yeah. She did have the street czar for a little while, but we don't need to go into that. But then, and I do want to say that I believe Mayor Harrell had Gerald Hankerson for a while, so who was de facto. So, but also he himself is a member of the black community. So it's like, how important was that? Whereas I think with somebody like Wilson, it's going to be important of like whomever is in that position to be like, oh, okay, you do kind of understand.
So this is actually, it's broken into two parts. I'm using the old system, so everything has to be shorter than 10 minutes. But it's a good break right there. We got comment from Donita Sinclair, who has been vocal in her support of Katie Wilson. And actually, it'd be good to actually get you on air, Donita, so we could talk about it. And really, my question for Katie Wilson was really aimed towards people like you, who were very vocal in your support of her campaign. And vocal for the things that she wants to achieve. And so my question to her really was, okay, for people who have supported you, like you and other groups in Seattle's black community who feel that Katie Wilson clearly was the better option and won the election, how does she see herself now coming back for community members like yourself who supported her now that she's in office? And we played her response. Actually, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Here it is right here. I got a lot going on over here. I'm gonna have to get up out the basement, man. All right, all right, so hold on, I gotta do this. Okay, we just have to wait. Let's not overthink. No, I would agree with you on that. But what I'm saying, it's just my job to ask these kind of questions. And so I had question number one. I go back to the other day. I had question number one at Katie Wilson's press conference. And that was actually, I wanted to ask, long story, I wanted to actually ask about the cabinet, but she said she was going to be talking about the cabinet later. And so my question was for the people who she flipped a good number of Harrell voters. A lot of Harrell voters also stayed home. They just assumed that he had it. They're like, yeah, it's all good. This guy got it. But she flipped a lot of people who voted for Harrell last time. When I'm saying people, being real specific in the black community, I know people got flipped all over the city, but in the black community. And so my question to her was, all right, well, are you coming back for him?
Yeah. First of all, congratulations. Central District of Seattle Black community is our primarily who we report to. Everybody appreciates their reporting. You flipped a lot of votes in Seattle Central District, in South End, especially black voters who last election voted for Mayor Harrell. They said that they see promise in you. I know you met with a lot of different groups across Seattle's black community. As close as this election is, that black vote very well might be a difference maker here. What's your commitment now moving into office to follow up with these different black organizations and groups and communities that you met with?
Great question. And, going back to what I said about I'm a community organizer, those relationships, we're going to continue building them, right? And I think you'll see that my mayor's office is going to have a really strong orientation toward not just waiting for people to come to us, because it's the people with the most resources and the most power that have the ability to come to City Hall. We're going to be out there. We're going to follow up with all of the people, all the organizations that we talked with during the campaign, and more that we didn't get to. And we're going to be making sure that everyone has a voice in City Hall, and we're going to work together on the priorities of the Black community and other communities around the city that often have felt in the past like they haven't had a voice.
Okay, that's first question, a first press conference, and that's where she's at. And we'll follow up with that. Donita was like, "Hey, man, got to give time," which is true. She hasn't even entered in the office yet. Yeah. There we go. Let me see. Donita's back again. I think that she's a decent person. Quite a few people have said that and agree with you on that, and we just have to wait and see. Let's not overthink. So. Back to the second half of that question there with Marcus Harrison Green, and this kind of led more into this is really interesting right here, because this kind of led more into how mayor's offices in the past, Harold and Durkin, have related with community, well, at least with media. So we spoke from both speaking of being like Black media, of the interaction between Durkin, when Durkin's administration and Harold's administration, and a few other things here. So let me play this one. I'm gonna shoot everybody some game.
You looking for a job? Or what?
No, man. Okay. I'm gonna shoot everybody some game. To be honest with you, man.
Okay.
Is it if they're talking about dealing with the Black community and everything else? Is that, man, guys need to have a tiered approach. Yeah. And so that's what you missed. And actually, believe it or not, Durkin, there was Dominique, but Durkin's office. Yeah. Durkin, because you had Kamaria Hightower over there. Yeah. You had quite a few other people over there who plugged into the Black community all at different levels.
No, 1,000%.
You see what I'm saying? And that's why, and we didn't see that with Mayor Harold. We saw like the plug into the Black community at like one level of it.
Which to be real with you, might be a reason why there were voters to be picked off by Wilson.
Well,
right?
I mean, of course, that's a big part of it. And I think that maybe with Mayor Harold, with coming from the neighborhood, this gregarious personality and everything else, that I think that he felt that, man, okay, I got a lot of this. Mayor Durkin, who we could talk about for days, but Mayor Durkin, I always just tell the truth on it though. Mayor Durkin, though, I think knowing her personality, knowing it coming in, she was, a very, very kind of like stoic kind of personality. She didn't have the personality of like a Mayor Harold, could walk in any room and everything else.
Yeah, and there wasn't a magnetism to her.
Yeah, and so Durkin had people engaging in the Black community at different levels, all the way from a CVI level to an official level to our communications team and everything else.
I will say that, man. Like leaving these people's politics aside.
I mean, put the politics aside. It's just
like I would say in terms of a level of connection, and this isn't to say I didn't give. This is not to say that like the Harold administration's folks didn't reach out to me. They did, but I would tell you in terms of like just frequency and rapidity of like reach outs from and like things that I was like, damn, do you even need to waste an email on this? Like I said, like the Durkin administration was hitting Black media up.
Listen,
all the time.
The Durkin administration stayed on Black media. Not although that they were all stayed as in on camera, but it was constant communication.
Yes.
Man, it's not a week that went by. If there was something that they thought put 5% interest to some Black people,
it might have been 0.5%, but yes.
And you get a phone call too, though. You might get a follow-up phone call like, "Hey, man, I'm just trying to." And so,
bro, I remember I was dating somebody at the time, and I was getting hit up from somebody at the mayor's office so often. They was like, "Who the hell is this?" like, no, I swear, it's not. I ain't messing around.
I mean, and that's true. And it was a high level of visibility in across black media. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? During that administration. The last administration, the Harold administration, we really didn't see that as much. And it very well might be because the mayor might have felt, I'm not in his mind, he might have felt like, well, man, I'm already Black. I'm already
right.
I'm already,
how do I need to do
I'm already whatever. But, so it'll be interesting to see. And the whole point of what you brought up is who's going to be the liaison. Man, I'll give you some free, but you guys have been paying these high-priced consultants. Clearly, it's working for some and not for others. Let me give you some game here, man. You can't send no one person to talk to
1,000%.
whole. There are some segments. Like if there's a big business liaison.
What I said is, and I should have provided more context in the sense of like, even to the question of when we talked about Black community, it's like the Black community is not a monolith. Like it is not at all. So it is not, man. In the sense of like, you got, I know certain people who they have nice, plush, palatial estates, like sitting around there in Sewell Park, and they're blacker than the ace of spades. And you got folks, grandmothers, who are like, got 4 grandchildren, living off a fixed income, and they were Katie Wilson's supporters because they thought she was the person who was like, with their policies are best for working class people. You had other folks, like, again, the palatial estate in Sewell Park, blacker than the ace of spades, who was like, I'm rolling with Bruce all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Yeah. So here's the thing is, I think with City Hall and with politicians and everything else, when it does come to the Black community and everything else, and we kind of see where budgets go, and things like that.
That's value statements all day.
Is that it's almost like the attention, which it should be, it's fine, but so much attention goes to a small percentage of people in our community that there might be struggling, especially if, or issues around crime or violence. Now, these are big things that impact all of us.
Right.
But man, there's so many in our community that are just forgotten.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's so many other young people who are on the precipice. There's no resource for them.
1,000%.
There's so many different things, but I think that the sound, the alarm is so loud around, especially issues of violence and gun violence and things like that. What you should be, this gun violence is, man, believe me, you see Elijah's name when you walk through the door there. You see Devon Pickett's name right over there. These are important issues. But sometimes I think City Hall looks at something so singularly in our community that they're missing all these other things that are there that can be beneficial.
It's to your point, man. I remember I was talking to Don Mason, Elder Don Mason, during the election, and you talk about somebody who will cuss you out in love. But anyway, no, but she
forget that distinguish other. Forget the distinguish other before you say. See what happens.
Distinguish other.
You don't want that smoke.
No, but it's like she told me, during the election, she was like, we're so busy being like anti-gun violence or anti-this. Like, what about being pro-brilliance, pro-Black brilliance, right? And that's real,
That's real. I mean, it's in some cases, man, it's hard. I think the SAT is now free, or however the testing is. But man, at one point, it's easier to get resources if you were in trouble than it was to get resources if you wanted to like get money to take the PSAT. Or if you wanted to take some different, classes or a different experience. The resources came once you was in trouble.
Right. Don't just fund us when we're in crisis. I would say that. Right. Fund us so we never have to be. Fund us to the next point of thriving.
I mean, everybody talks about the upstream, man, but it's like the little. Yeah. Good conversation there with Marcus Harrison Green. And in the full interview, let's see what they can do. Again, apology on that audio. That's unlike me at all. So I'll ask your forgiveness there. We'll make sure that doesn't happen again. I started off in radio, so I'm all about the audio. So it pains me to play these clips. It pains me. But in the full interview, we discussed how 5 years ago in 2020, me and Marcus will be talking, and we would talk about some of the very big issues that I felt away from the big shiny issues that we always see. And shiny is probably not the best word because they're really pressing issues, but there's an issue of, what income. I haven't seen the latest numbers from the FYI guy, but a few years ago, it was like a Black household in Seattle made $42,500 a year, and a white household made $105,000. I don't want white households to make less. Don't get me wrong. I just want to see how Black households can make more. The other issue that we really talked about was the decline in home ownership. And I think we all know home ownership leads to so many things, generational wealth, all those kind of things. And the third thing was the education gap. And like 5 years later, those are still really relevant things that we still feel needs to be addressed, in community. But I think one of the big things with the whole interview is just perspective. And Marcus also hit on what I asked him, what are the biggest issues in your area in South Seattle and South King County, and like a lot of other places across the city. But he said affordability, and of course, affordability is a big issue here to be tackled. I say it again directly to you, to anybody who can listen. The rent is too damn high. You feel me? All across the Emerald City, the rent is too damn high. Everything's expensive in this city. Like everything it's mind blowing. I can't believe like I'm still here, and any of us guys are still here for sure, because it's untenable, untenable. It's not okay. You feel me? The rent is like crazy. Everything here is very expensive, and some things are within the control of, say, city government. A lot of things that are expensive in our state is things that come out of Olympia, and then other things, of course, nationally that impact us. But no matter what, man, it's like the perfect storm for affordability right here. And then you just see something recently came out. This is like one of the most expensive places to go out for a meal, one of the most expensive places for like chain restaurants. One of the most, we already been knowing it's like the most expensive for Uber. Don't even play with Uber Eats. You know what I'm saying? And we know how that goes. You buy something for $20, and by the time it's delivered, it's like $42, stuff like that. Man. And so he said that's one of the biggest issues there in South Seattle, like so many other neighborhoods, of course, across this city. And then also transit and accessibility. So that, there's quite a few things. And then also what we talked about is what he felt soon to be Mayor Wilson was going to be able to accomplish in the first 6 months. And one thing that she's been clear on is like getting after and tackling the homeless issue in Seattle. So we will see what that looks like as well. I got one more clip to play. We're gonna take a short break, 60 seconds. Hang on with your boy. I'll be right back.
Pacific Northwest Ballet is thrilled to be back on stage with your favorite holiday tradition, the Nutcracker. Brighten your holidays with this timeless tale, performed by PNB's incredible company of dancers to the live magic of the PNB Orchestra, playing Tchaikovsky's classic score. Treat your loved ones to the Nutcracker at Seattle Center's McCaw Hall. For tickets, visit pnb.org.
Son of a Nutcracker. Join Buddy in Elf the Musical as he journeys from the North Pole to New York City with laughter, dazzling tap dancing, and the most holiday cheer. Elf the Musical runs November 28th through December 28th. Groups of 10 or more save big. Tickets at fifthavenue.org.
All right, quick 60, man. You know what I'm saying? We're in the break. We're out of the break. Also, you see a break, commercials there. Feel free. The show is up and coming. There's one thing you can take my word on. Is like get in while you can, because we already know where this is going. You can tap in, advertise at whereweconverge.com. You can always hit me about anything, Omari at OMARI at whereweconverge.com. This last little piece of the interview with that I clipped out here with Marcus, it's kind of fun in the beginning here. And then he turns to something very serious in his message for everybody. And he talks about something really serious with his brother and being able, making sure that man, people reach out to your folks no matter where you're at with things. And then after that, some of you guys saw this the other day, but since I was here with Marcus, I thought I was play this again. It's our rooftop honors where we got honored by Gardner Global.
There's this Walt Whitman poem, and he says, I mean, he's talking about the presidents, but the president, but he's talking about, he says, like, why do you think, Congress every January they assemble, why do you think every day the president wakes up in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? He's like, they forget often, but you can't forget. It's for you. It's for you that they do this. It's for you. It's for you. It's for you. It's to make your life better. That's what it's supposed to be for. Right. So you gotta remind them from time to time what their job is and who they serve. And ultimately, that's what I think. And this is community. I'm saying is that we need to continue to remind these folks, whether it's at the King County level, we didn't even talk about the King County race, but whether it's King County level, whether it's the state level, whether it's at the city level, whether it's on the school board level, they work for us every day, and we need to remind them of that constantly.
Yeah, I like that. Well, it's real deal. People, yeah, they forget that.
Yeah,
right.
They a lot of times, right? They hobnobbing with whomever. And they do forget about the, they do.
They hit them with the hobnob, though. So it's all good. Well, I would say this, make me a promise. You know what I'm saying? And I know you always keep your promises. Yeah. Is that as these things kind of filter out, and maybe we'll come back and we'll talk about Zahalai at another time, because that is somebody and he's got his whole rollout. This, that, it's all packaged up and everything. Right. He's got his 4Bs. You know what I'm saying? Boots on the ground.
Man, all right. You talking about somebody who got to work.
I just start line dancing with it. My boots.
By the way, hands down, best election night party, man. I was like, dang. That was like, he's right at Darcolino's down the street. I was like, man, I'm at the right spot. Like the Luther Vandross was going bumping through the system. I was like, oh man, maybe I'm at the.
One thing about Zahalai, man, is not even in saying this in a bad way, but his joints, everything he does is curated.
Man, I want to say,
you're never gonna show up to no raggedy stuff.
Nah, bro. I'm
like on the real. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to report from election night. They got the $18 Mai Tais down. I'm like, dang, all right. Anyway.
All right. Council is executive.
Yes.
Right? King County
executive elect.
County executive elect Zahalai. You know what I'm saying? And that's an even bigger budget, an even bigger responsibility. The mayor gets Seattle, of course, gets all the shiny object, man. But King County, so that's what I'm saying. We'll have to join again and talk about that and a few other things. Before we get out of here, though, because it's all me just talking about stuff, man. Is there anything that you want our viewers to know? Anything that you clock in, keeping your eye out in the community, or I don't know, even a new restaurant you discovered? Anything you want to share with us?
Man, I would just say, particularly around this time period, with the holidays coming up, look, all the stuff that we talk about, whether it's politics or finances or whatever. I mean, ultimately, it's if you don't have family, then what is any of this for, right? And so, around this time, it's about 3 years ago now, I wrote a piece that was in the Emerald and the Seattle Times about, speaking, reaching out to folks in your family who maybe you haven't talked to in a while, or that friend you haven't talked to in a while, particularly around the holidays. Because my brother, he had passed away 3 years ago in a freak accident, carbon dioxide. And, never got the chance to really tell him, how I felt about him. I was, he was making some not the best decisions in his life, and I was disappointed in him. And I will tell you, man, there's not a day that goes by that I wish he wasn't here just for me to, to tell him I love him. So I would say, with the holiday approaching, man, if there's anybody in your life, I mean, even if you're not estranged, but you just don't say it as often as you need to, reach out to that person, man. Tell them you love them, man. It does just as much. It's just as fulfilling to them as it is to you. I'll say that. So
that's fire. That's real deal. And I was going to end this a different way, but I think you ended it best. but I will say this is that we're going to leave everybody. We're going to take them back a few months ago to the rooftop honors.
Okay.
Where Jebediah Gardner and Gardner Global. I played this the other day, but you're here and you're in it. So I played it. It's a beautiful segment. It's a beautiful
Don't
story.
judge my dance moves. Don't nobody judge my dance moves.
Man, I had the bad leg on too. You know what I'm saying? But we'll leave everybody with that, and it's important to see that like this was all brothers being uplifted.
Absolutely.
Another brother. You know what I'm saying? These moments
Yeah.
that sometimes people say don't happen here and everything else, and it was just beautiful to be in that space with you. And I think that our viewers will see that. And so we'll leave everybody with that. Marcus Harrison Green, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. Thank you all.
My man. All right. Yes, my guy, Marcus. I was going to play this version. I got to play this another day because, you know, as this show quickly elevates from the back room to the desk and hopefully to the main studio soon, I need to play the TV-friendly versions of things. So I'm going to play that at a later date. But I am going to leave you with something nice that we actually shot over in Spokane, in the city of Spokane. So I'll leave you with that. But anyways, listen, I'm back tomorrow. I chopped it up with Justin Carter, CapitolHillSeattle.com. And, you know, one, you should check it out. I think a lot of people watching are already familiar with CapitolHillSeattle.com or Capitol Hill Seattle blog. My guy Jay Seattle on Twitter. A lot of similar questions about the new incoming mayor. He covered her a lot, or CapitolHillSeattle.com covered her a lot as well. He also covers news in the Central District and also somebody that I go back with. Look, if you got any questions, suggestions, right? See, like the show is just starting to grow, right? We're getting it off the ground. We're really taking it back to the old school, to be honest with you. And if you go way, way back, a lot of people date us to the protest. But like the morning update show was on air before the protest. And the morning update show pre-protest, man, it was so dope because it was just a conversation with the community. And then, you know, the protest came around and it was just like, it was all news, this, that, everything else. And that show really stopped being fun for a long time. We had a lot of joy when it was just us kicking it. You feel me? And so I'm trying to keep that kind of joy around this. And, you know, as time evolves here, it's always really serious issues that come up and things like that. But I think people who know me, or either you'll get to know me, is like, man, I got a positive disposition for the most part. I'm optimistic. And to be honest with you, I'm somebody who, you know, has dealt with a lot, been through a lot and everything else. And we go through a lot in our community. And so dealing with a lot of real people on real life issues on the street level and on the ground level also keeps somebody like me grounded. So I'm not someone who sees a headline and I'm just going to go and rant or this and that, because I'm like, man, I really know people who are really going through it. Not to say that, of course, that, you know, the news is important. That's why I'm here. It's news information, but you'll see this, like, you know, we'll get there. But man, open for your feedback. Holla at your boy. You know what I'm saying? Omari, Omari, at whereweconverge.com. Also, you know what? I think I got something in here. No, I'll leave you with this here from Spokane. I'll play some other stuff tomorrow. We got so much video, so much this and that, so many stories to tell. I've literally got hundreds, like 600-700 stories and everything else that usually only get flighted on TV. And so now we got another place to share those with you as well. That being said, man, listen, everybody have a good evening, man. Be safe, stay blessed, all that good stuff. I gotta cue it all up over here. And just a reminder, go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. Peace.
Black joy is the spirit within. And we need to own it. We don't have to wait for somebody else to give it to us. We can create it ourselves.
I'd compare it to soul food. To me, it means to come alive again. all the neighborhood kids hanging out together, playing together, walking to the stores together, people supporting each other's.
Black joy is build whatever we need to for ourselves, learning and growing safely.
Black joy is success.
It means resilience, hope, also means pride.
Generational wealth. To one day when I get a little younger, older, that I can see my children and my grandchildren and the community children successful.
Black joy is contagious and is definitely full of color.
Black joy is coming to work every day and seeing people that look like me, working with people, Black people, every day for the sustainability of this community.
There's nothing like Black joy because it can't be replicated, but it's understood wherever you are in the world.